Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy Wednesday night to join me. I really do appreciate that. This is round two, and I'm surprising myself. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I surprise myself. I think I just said that, but I felt like I should just keep talking because I did want to talk about some more important and serious things than just how I feel randomly about the Lakers and so forth. And I didn't even talk about all the things that I wanted to talk about in that last video, including the fact that Luka is one of the best basketball players and it's no slight on him that he's a Laker, but he should still be a Maverick. And I'm crying with every Maverick fan every single night. Thinking about how that team could have actually been a really good franchise team, and now instead, because of gambling, we live in a world where Dallas is attempting to become the new Las Vegas. These guys go from historically being anti gambling to their governor introducing legislation that would allow for casinos in Texas, which is, again, not a very popular thing. And I know this because my family and I have been around these parts for an awfully long time, and there's never been any local sentiment as it is to legalize any kind of gambling in the state of Texas. I mean, have you guys been to Texas? Has anybody that's watching this video been there? Have you talked to anybody that's lived in Texas? Do you know how they feel? It doesn't matter what color their skin is, they're typically all very much against gambling. But, not the new owners of the Dallas Mavericks. So, anyways, we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're having a two-part little vlog sesh here tonight because I want to bring everyone's attention to a couple of things. All right. And so one is universal health care. I think that it's just still important to remind everyone just how important universal health care is. Link in the description below. That's kind of what's inspiring this talk. Just another friendly reminder that this is the greatest country in the world. Is you an American? Can you agree with this statement? Can we agree on something? That's what they tell us, right? Doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat or a boomer or a quieter or a funky Xer or a cool Xer, or in my case, a, cringe millennial. I'm not sure, but America, is a cool place, right? Like, for the most part, I think we can agree on that. There's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of freedom of expression here. And yeah, the gap between rich and poor has never been, this wide in the history of our country. But that's something that we're going to deal with. That's something that people like myself and people, work behind the scenes to ensure that, our future is not upended and we don't end up in some sort of seventh circle of Dante's, hell or whatever, at least figuratively speaking. And so I think that being said, all of those things collectively, I think there's a lot of good things about our country. I know this. I know there's no other team that I'd rather be on. I love being an American. I love my team. I'd never join any other team. I don't ever want to be an expat. I don't ever, this is where I was born. You feel me? I couldn't decide that, so I guess it's just what it is. But I feel like that, right? And again, it's not just based on some stupid patriotic BS or some nonsense on some extreme left or right. It's just comparatively speaking, from what I know about the rest of the world, America is all right. You feel me? This place is a place where there's a kind of freedom here that can be lived, especially if you got money, especially if you have resources. This is probably the best place that you can be. And so, all right, we agree on that. But the thing is this is the only country in the entire world that is a developed nation and does not have universal basic health care. That in and of itself should really make you question where you're living. It should really make you question the leaders that are turning all of our literal bodies into cavities for potential profit and loss statements from some weird AI program that spits it out to, executive chairman Rick. And then Rick takes the whatever results from AI and is like, hey guys, We got to do this new report for Cigna Healthcare or United Healthcare or whatever, and we're going to go ahead and let 33% of all claims be denied so that we can make money. And let's forego the whole principle of actually treating people for conditions that, affect their livelihood. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing that we live in a world where people have medical bankruptcies. It's a weird thing that we live in a world where people can't get seen within like a short period of time, even by their primary physician for typical routine in and out kind of care. Like, I think that's silly. I think, you see all the mansions, you see all the nice neighborhoods, you see all the fancy buildings, you see all the nice cars, but there's no reprieve as it concerns any American that has or needs access to some kind of medicine or some kind of treatment. I mean, again, just because it doesn't impact you doesn't mean that other people aren't being affected by it by the millions, okay? So that's all that I'm saying. A small part of people out there are doing just fine. And I'm not going to hate on those people. I don't want your stuff. You keep all your stuff, keep your money. Seriously, it's not even about that. Like, if you're at a point in your life where you have the kind of access to financial resources that allows you to not have to rely on, the idea that if you get sick, it's actually going to be something that you may not actually be able to overcome. I mean, can you imagine that? To all my people out there with money and with opportunity and with good health insurance and stuff, can you imagine being in a situation where the quality of your life is directly impacted because you can't afford your health care? Just for a second, be reasonable, be rational, be logical, be sympathetic. You feel me? Like, that's a tough situation. Like, I can't being sick should not make you homeless, okay? Like, I'm just saying, like, people get what they deserve kind of a thing. Well, nobody deserves to be sick, okay? Like, seriously, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in God. None of that matters. Everybody deserves a fair shot at being the best person they can be and living the best kind of life they can live. Considering that the government should also, in fact, be very supportive of this particular statement, seeing as though, we're all economic slaves for Uncle Sam anyway, and it'd probably be in Uncle Sam's best interest to keep us all as healthy as possible, as opposed to literally profiting from the way that sometimes life is to a lot of us, and that is sadly unfortunate and unlucky in that paycheck to paycheck is one thing, but then getting hit by a car on your way to work because you can't afford a car to drive to work is another thing that's going to put you out of work, far more in debt, and far less likely to ever obtain any kind of quality of life again. And that's the truth. That's how close millions of people are in this country to quite literally being destitute and homeless. All right. So, again, this conversation is not for the people that can afford to pay for their health care or that can afford to pay high copays on expensive, cancer treatments and so forth. Like, again, this is for the common person. This is for the person that you see out on the streets that hasn't been to a doctor in 20 years because for some reason they're afraid of our medical system. And you can't really blame them, can you? Because anyone that has, a functioning brain would also be very much in fear of our healthcare system, especially if our healthcare system has historically been, it's not been a good thing. Not in the 80s, not in the 90s, not in the 2000s, not in 2025. And so I think that it's fair to say, since most of us probably have a story that has impacted our lives, or we know of somebody that has had their life impacted based on just making a mistake, based on something that is completely out of their control. Again, nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves cancer. Nobody deserves to be told that they have an untreatable cancer that is going to make it so that they can't work. Again, you guys realize that when people, get sick and they're not able to work, the government, somebody's got to pay for them. And unfortunately, we live in a world where the government is not currently even doing that. So imagine living in a world where we're supposed to be in the best country, and yet we clearly, in so many different ways, can improve upon. And I just feel like it's worth talking about. I feel like it's worth talking about because it is literally our future. It's our children's future. It's their children's future. I mean, and besides all of that, it's the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do is to continue moving forward in this for profit healthcare way, and to not at least do everything and anything that we can as constituents of this great country to challenge the very idea that we do not need to be the only developed nation in the world to have a healthcare system for profit, when currently so many people need healthcare. They need basic healthcare. They need not to worry about getting sick. They need not to worry about having to go to work sick. There are more important things in life, like making sure that you're okay and that you're healthy and that your mental health is good and that you can stand on a tile floor for 8 hours with no mats and, be okay, because some of those things, those very little things that you may not think about because you're busy at work, will inevitably impact you for the rest of your life. So, I mean, care about your life a little. You feel me? I feel like the more you care about your own life, the more that you might actually think about other people's lives. And I mean, forgive me for wanting people to be a little selfish in that way, but I tell you, love yourself. You feel me? This is the best advice I can give to anybody. And then make reasonable and rational decisions, right? And one of those reasonable and rational decisions being that universal health care is something that is long overdue here in this country, and we're going to get it. Whether or not it's from Trump or the next person, we will get universal health care here in the United States of America. This is without question. So, boomers, do what you do, make your graceful exit on into the afterlife and leave us with an opportunity to fix all of the things that you've so happily lit on fire. It's a good thing there's a lot of water on this planet. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a really wonderful night. My name is Albert. This was Vlogs About Nothing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.